the forgotten animatronic that might explain everything part 3. Now, this is where things start getting weird, because up until now, we've only been talking about patterns, themes, similarities, but theories aren't built on themes alone. We need evidence. And the next clue might be one of the strangest details in the entire franchise. Let's talk about memory. Not human memory, artificial memory. Because FNAF has always been obsessed with the idea that machines can remember. Think about it. Some animatronics remember places they've never been programmed to know. Others react to people they shouldn't recognize. And some seem to carry emotions that don't belong to machines at all. Fear, regret, anger, sadness. How does a machine remember something it never experienced? That's the question. And our forgotten animatronic may help answer it. Because throughout the series, we repeatedly see technology preserving pieces of the past. Not entire people, not complete personalities. Fragments, echoes, impressions. Almost like memories can leave fingerprints behind. And if that's true, then certain animatronics may be carrying far more information than anyone realizes. Not because they're possessed, but because they've absorbed traces of events that happen around them. Now hold on. I know that sounds crazy, but think about the environments these machines exist in. Years of tragedy, years of experiments, years of human emotion concentrated into a single location. If memory can somehow imprint itself onto objects, then every machine inside these locations becomes a potential archive, a living record of the past. And suddenly, our forgotten animatronic becomes a lot more important. Because unlike most characters, it spends an unusual amount of time observing, watching, listening, remaining present while major events unfold. Not acting, not interfering, simply existing, collecting information, almost like a witness. And that's a role FNAF rarely gives to its characters. Most characters are participants, victims, villains, survivors. But witnesses? Those are much rarer. And witnesses matter, because witnesses preserve stories. Now let's connect this to another recurring idea in the franchise. Imitation, the act of copying. Throughout FNAF, machines constantly imitate people, voices, movements, personalities, behavior patterns. The technology becomes more sophisticated with every generation. But here's the disturbing part. The more accurately a machine imitates someone, the harder it becomes to tell where the original ends and the copy begins. And that's a terrifying concept, because eventually, a perfect imitation starts looking exactly like memory. And memory starts looking exactly like identity. That's where things become dangerous. Because if a machine can perfectly recreate someone's behavior, is it still just a machine? Or has it become something else entirely? Notice how often FNAF returns to that question. Again, and again, and again. Different stories, different characters, the same dilemma. What makes someone who they are? Their body? Their memories? Their actions? Or something else? And our forgotten animatronic sits right in the middle of that debate. Because unlike many characters, it seems trapped between categories. Not fully human, not fully machine, not entirely passive, not entirely hostile, existing in a strange gray area, a place where certainty disappears. And that's exactly why I think this character matters. Not because it secretly controls everything, not because it's the hidden mastermind, but because it embodies one of the franchise's most important questions. The question FNAF has been asking from the very beginning. Can the past ever truly stay buried? Or does it always find a way to come back? Because every major storyline eventually returns to that idea. The past survives, sometimes through people, sometimes through memories, sometimes through machines, and sometimes through things we don't fully understand. Now here's the final clue for today, a detail that changed how I looked at this entire theory. The forgotten animatronic never really receives a complete explanation. Think about that. So many characters eventually get answers, origins, motivations, backstories, but this character remains strangely ambiguous, almost intentionally unfinished. As if the mystery itself is more important than the answer. And maybe that's the point. Maybe we're not supposed to solve the character. Maybe we're supposed to learn from it. Because once you stop asking, who is this animatronic? And start asking, what idea does this animatronic represent? Everything changes. The connections become clearer. The patterns become stronger. And the larger story begins to reveal itself. But we're still missing one final piece. One last connection that ties everything together. And trust me, that's where this theory goes from interesting to absolutely terrifying.